Hi, this is Wendy. Welcome to my channel. If you are welcoming a little one into the family or you need a baby shower gift, this is the video for you. Today I'll be sharing a pattern for a block stitch baby blanket in 3 colors that you are just going to love. It's really easy, it works up quickly, and it is just so pretty. I'll be using some white, yellow, and green worsted weight acrylic yarn for this pattern and a 4.5mm hook. So why do I have this 2-color version here? Well, this is a traditional 2-color block stitch pattern, but what I find pretty annoying about this pattern is you have to cut the thread at each end because each row is just worked in one direction and then you have to go back and start the next color. So unless you're adding tassels, this is a pain. You have to work in all of these threads. So I'm going to do a 3-color version and we can avoid that. We can carry the colors up the side. I'm going to make a sample size to walk you through the whole process, including the edging, but I'll give you the numbers for a whole blanket, and it will make a blanket approximately 30 inches wide and 40 inches long. All right, let's jump right in. For your foundation chain, make a chain that's a multiple of 3 plus 1. Now that can be a little confusing the first time you come across it in a pattern, but all that means is make a chain that's a multiple of 3, 3, 6, 9, 12, so on. And when you get to the end, say you have 36 or 42, add one more. Okay, so the multiple is the first number, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. The plus 1 is just the one stitch that you add after that. So for a blanket about 30 inches wide in worsted weight, you will need 121 stitches. 120 is your multiple of 3 and the 1 is your plus 1. For row 1, single crochet in the second chain from the hook. So skipping over this first one, going into the second one. You can work in the back bump if you like, but because we're doing a border later, it's not going to make any difference. Single crochet in that second chain and in the next one. And I'll put the instructions on the screen so you can see the written instructions that go along with this. Now we'll start a repeat. The repeat is a chain of 2, skip 2. So I've worked in this one. I'm going to skip the next 2 and single crochet into the next stitch. Chain 2, skip 2 chains, single crochet into the next chain, and so on down to the end. Chain 2, skip 2, work into the next one with a single crochet. When you get to the end of the row, you'll find you have 1 chain left after you've single crocheted, and then you'll single crochet in that last one. So what we've got after this first row is 2 single crochets on each end with these chain 2 spaces and single crochets in the middle. Now we want to switch colors. So I'm going to actually back up on that last stitch, go to before the final pull through, grab your next color, leave a bit of a tail for working in, and do the last pull through with the new color. So that's how you're going to switch colors in a neat and tidy way. We can pull on this green one later to snug it up. Now, for this next row, don't chain, just turn. We're going to start our double crochet row. And you can start with a chain 3 if you like. I'm going to start with a stacked single, which looks like this. So in that same stitch right next to your hook, at the base of your hook here, pick up a loop and make a single crochet. Then put your hook under the left hand leg of this stitch right there. Do you see that? So we've got that single crochet with these two legs. We're going to go under that left hand leg, just the front side, pick up another loop and do another single crochet. You might be familiar with it, but if you're not, that's a stacked single, and it's a substitute for a starting chain of 3 or a starting double crochet. Now, the next thing is to do 3 double crochets in each of these chain 2 spaces. So we're going to skip over this single crochet and do 3 double crochets in each of these spaces. And just repeating 3 double crochets in each of these chain 2 spaces until you get to the end. When you get to the end of those groups of 3, you'll skip over the second last stitch and double crochet into the last stitch. The double crochet rows will have 1 stitch less than the other rows that have the 2 chain loops in them, and it's just because we skipped over 1 stitch near the beginning, but it will even out on the next row. So just keep in mind that your double crochet rows will have 1 stitch less than your other rows, and that's just fine. Okay, now I have to go back because I forgot to switch colors here. Again, at this row, at the end, before your last pull through, grab your new color and pull that one through. The next row is very much like the green row. We're going to start with a chain 1 and turn. Single crochet in the first stitch, then single crochet into the space before the group of 3. Chain 2, single crochet into the space between the next group of 3, chain 2, and so on, carrying on across with a chain 2 space and a single crochet between the groups of double crochets. At the end of the row, before your last group of 3 double crochets, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to chain 2, skip over, put the last single crochet right after that group, and 1 more in the top of the last double crochet. Okay, so it looks like that. You've got 2 singles on each end and these groups of 2 chain spaces in between. Now again, switch colors at the end of this row. Go back to the previous color, which in this case is green. So I'm doing green, white, yellow in sequence. Pull the green loop through, leaving a loose enough piece at the end so that it doesn't pull the side of your work tight. Later on we'll go back and do a border and we'll cover over those carryovers. Now don't chain 1 here because we're going to do that stacked single. Again, if you prefer to do 3 chains, that's fine. Otherwise, just turn around, do a single crochet in that first stitch, and stack a second single crochet on top, like so. And just like the white row, 3 double crochets in each of the chain 2 spaces. And that's your repeat. So you will just continue doing a double crochet row and a chain 2 row until your blanket reaches the length that you're looking for. I'm going to do several more rows and then I'll show you how to do a border around the whole thing. I hope you're enjoying this project. I think it's really beautiful. And there's my square all finished. Isn't that pretty in that color combination? I think the yellow yarn is just slightly heavier than the other two colors, but it came out all right anyway. That's just a reminder to try and use different colors from the same brand if you can, so that they're all the same thickness. When your blanket is as long as you want it to be, or about 40 inches for a baby blanket, you can just continue around the edge, work off any loose threads, and finish it off with a nice edge. To do that, just do an extra single crochet in the corner and work your way down the side. I find that if I put an average of 2 stitches for each double crochet row and 1 stitch for each single crochet row, it comes out pretty even without having a lot of bumpiness or unevenness along the side. So just work your single crochets going over top of any loose threads to anchor them in. 2 for each double crochet row and 1 for each single crochet row. I'm going to go all the way around like that and then show you the finished product. There's my edging all done. So I worked down the side, 2 in the corner, 1 across each of the stitches in my foundation chain that I started with, 2 in the other corner, and then 2 in the double crochet rows and 1 in the single crochet rows going up the side as before, and back to where I started. The beauty of it is, when you do an edging like this, the only thread that I have to work off is the one that I ended with. So there you have the tri-colored block stitch baby blanket. I hope that you'll be inspired to pick out 3 colors that you love and make this for someone special. Like and subscribe if you found this tutorial helpful, and I will see you in the next video. Have a super day.